जय हिंद, नमस्कार। डेव टॉक्स में आपका स्वागत है। थैंक यू फॉर क्लिकिंग ऑन दिस वीडियो एंड ट्रस्टिंग मी विद योर टाइम। ये बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग सब्जेक्ट है जिसके बारे में आपसे बात करना चाह रहा हूँ। दीज आर गोइंग टू बी सम स्मॉल वीडियोस दैट आई विल कीप पुटिंग ऑन नाउ एंड अगेन, जिसके अंदर आपको इंपॉर्टेंट जियोपॉलिटिकल अपडेट्स के बारे में आई विल गिव यू सम इंफॉर्मेशन। जो बड़ी बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट खबरें होती हैं उसके बारे में आई गिव यू सम डिटेल्स। एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग डेवलपमेंट हो रही है इन यूरोप इज दैट जो आपके जर्मनी और फ्रांस, जो मेन दो कंट्रीज हैं, उनके बीच में थोड़ी सी टेंशन स्टार्ट दिख रही है। और ये थोड़ी सी टेंशन स्टार्ट 1-2 महीने पहले थी। इट इज सडनली नाउ पिक्ड अप टू अ पॉइंट वेयर इट इज बीन शोन इन द पब्लिक। दीज थिंग्स वर हिडन। पहले कोई पब्लिक में इसके बारे में बात नहीं कर रहा था। अभी सडनली दीज थिंग्स हैव सडनली कम आउट इन द पब्लिक। व्हाट आई वांट टू डू इज फाइंड आउट ये हुआ क्या है। जर्मनी और फ्रांस, जो दो बड़े बड़े कंट्रीज हैं, इनके बीच में हुआ क्या है, व्हाट इज द टेंशन ऑल अबाउट, और इसका क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा। एज अ मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट ये दो कंट्रीज ने तो अपनी बंदूकें उठा के यूएस की तरफ भी ताक दी हैं। दे हैव एक्चुअली पुट आउट अ स्टेटमेंट अगेंस्ट द यूएस आल्सो। Now, all this stuff, before I begin into this subject here, guys, please, my request is hit the like button, check your subscription, bell icon को आप जरूर ऑन करिएगा, because मेरे वीडियोस की इंटेंसिटी अभी बढ़ने वाली है। I'm going to put more and more shorter videos for you to watch. So please put the bell icon कि आपको पता चले मेरे वीडियोस बाहर आ रहे हैं और आप देख सकते हैं। And of course, yes, you can become a member of Dev Talks by clicking the join button जो नीचे रहेगा, and you can also click the thanks to send me a super sticker or a super chat. आप Dev Talks की एफर्ट की तरफ यूपीआई से भी कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं। नंबर आपके स्क्रीन पे नीचे दिख रहा है। नाउ, ये जब से जो रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर स्टार्टेड, वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट थिंग्स दैट हैज हैपेंड इज देयर इज बीन एन एनर्जी क्राइसिस। नाउ दिस इज समथिंग नॉट न्यू, एवरीबॉडी नोज एनर्जी का बहुत शॉर्टेज चल रहा है, बिकॉज रशिया इनका मेन सप्लायर था। रशिया से जो पाइपलाइंस आती थी जिससे लिटरली गैस और ऑयल और ये और वो सब कुछ चल रहा था, तो रशिया वाज अ मेन सप्लायर ऑफ एनर्जी फॉर यूरोप। आप ये भी कह सकते हैं कि यूरोप की जो सेटिंग है और यूरोप का जो डेवलपमेंट हुआ है, a lot of it is credit to the cheap Russian gas that they've been getting. ठीक है, इनको इतना लॉजिस्टिक्स देना नहीं पड़ता, इनको कुछ नहीं करना पड़ता, पाइप से आती है, अपना यूज करते हैं, इंडस्ट्री चल रही है। प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, जर्मनी जैसा जो कंट्री है विच इज बेस्ड ऑन इट्स इंडस्ट्री, कार इंडस्ट्री एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट, इट इज यूजिंग दिस पर्टिकुलर फैसिलिटी, इफ आई मे, दैट दे हैव वेरी क्लोज टू देम। नाउ आप इंडिया का भी देख लीजिए, इंडिया इज नॉट अ एनर्जी सफिशिएंट कंट्री। सो इंडिया नीड्स एनर्जी। बाहर से इंडिया को रिक्वायर्ड है कि कैसे हम लोग अपनी इंडस्ट्री चलाएं। जर्मनी, फ्रांस में थोड़ी बहुत एनर्जी है, जर्मनी में तो बिल्कुल नहीं है। ईस्टर्न यूरोप में बहुत कम है, जहां से पूरा रशिया से पाइपलाइंस और ये सब आती हैं एंड दे आर यूज्ड। बट अभी जो चक्कर किया है कि इन लोगों ने सैंक्शन कर रखा है उसको। एज ए मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट, दिसंबर के बाद तो ये लोग बोल रहे हैं हम लेंगे नहीं आपसे। उसका जो backlash which is coming across, and this is something me on Dev Talks have been talking about for a long time, since the time I've been covering the Russia Ukraine war. इसके बारे में मैंने और जनरल राजीव नारायण ने भी बात करी थी कि इसका इम्पैक्ट क्या रहेगा यूरोप के ऊपर। आई एम एक्चुअली क्वेश्चनिंग कि भाई साहब, ये यूरोप और नेटो तो अलग है बिकॉज इट्स अ डिफेंसिव अलायंस, बट यूरोपियन यूनियन जो है, विल इट सर्वाइव दिस एंटायर थिंग? Because of the kind of tensions that are going to come up because of energy, protest तो हो ही रहे हैं, leaders will be in stress, so pressure will be up. Now let us see what is exactly happened between Germany and France. एक छोटी सी presentation है as usual. I like to work with presentations so that I can show you some news snippets also. आपको दिखेगा, so you'll be able to kind of put your this thing also, and you would be able to also research on it. Right, so first thing is, अभी ये वेडनेसडे को ये लोग मिले थे, ठीक है, दे मेट इन फॉर अ कॉन्वर्सेशन। बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है कि ये कॉन्वर्सेशन होनी थी बेसिकली लास्ट वीक में, ठीक है, बट ये कॉन्वर्सेशन हुई नहीं लास्ट वीक में, बिकॉज मैक्रॉन साहब ने बोला भाई मैं अभी बिजी हूँ, आई विल कम लेटर। नाउ इफ यू रीड द न्यूज, एंड दिस इज कम, द फर्स्ट जो आपका है, दिस इज कम फ्रॉम DW. It says Scholz and Macron meet for very important talk. Tensions were there. Importance तो obviously दोनों की economies are taking a big hit. आपके पास inflation ऊपर है, protests चल रहे हैं, whole lot of things are there. And then the second article is from a magazine called Politico. The awkward lunch. Macron snubs Scholz in Paris. Now, the Chancellor of Germany, he had gone to Paris to meet President Macron. Let's sit down and have a conversation and see what we can do about our disagreements. Basically, जब दो leaders ऐसे मिलते हैं, so they do a press conference after this thing to tell the public and tell the press कि भाई क्या हुआ, what happened, कैसा discussion था, if everything is okay, what were the things that were spoken about, कोई announcements होती हैं, कोई deals होती हैं, something like that. As a matter of fact, Olaf Scholz, जो Germany के leader हैं, he had gone to Paris with a whole press club, but finally there was no joint press conference. So that was a big snub right to begin with, and this has happened just 2 days back. इसका अब इतना मतलब किसी को ये तो पर्सनल सॉर्ट ऑफ हो गया कुछ, बट लेट्स सी व्हाट इज द रीजन, क्या इश्यूज क्या हैं व्हिच आर क्रिएटिंग दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ अ टेंशन. द बिगेस्ट इशू इज ऑफ कोर्स ये एनर्जी क्राइसिस जो चल रही है. हाउ डू यू टैकल दिस? रशिया से यू नॉट गेटिंग गैस, एंड यूरोपियन यूनियन ने बहुत सारे डायलॉग्स मारे थे कि भाई हमको ओमान देगा, नाइजीरिया देगा, ये देगा, वो देगा. आया कुछ नहीं. अमेरिका से थोड़ी बहुत लिक्विड नेचुरल गैस आ रही है जो महंगी आ रही है. इट्स अबाउट 3 to 4 times more expensive than what is being sold in America. So उसका एक अलग सब्जेक्ट है, I'll talk to you of little later. But imagine करिए कि आप जो चीज 100 रुपए की ले रहे थे, अभी वो 300-400 रुपए की आपको मिलेगी, क्योंकि आपके पास गैस नहीं है और जहां से आप गैस ले रहे हैं इज मोर एक्सपेंसिव, राइट? ऑफ कोर्स दूसरी चीज क्या है? डिफेंस. नाउ सी, यूरोप का मैक्सिमम पार्ट ऑफ यूरोप इज पार्ट ऑफ नेटो. सो अमेरिकन ने बहुत सारा वहां पर अपना सेटअप कर रखा है, एंड इट्स बेसिकली कवर्ड अंडर द अमेरिकन डिफेंस अम्ब्रेला, राइट? व्हेन यू गो इनटू दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ एन एस्पेक्ट, यूरोप की जो अपनी डिफेंस कैपेबिलिटी है, नॉट वेरी मच. Their armies are very small, their systems, yeah, they've got very good aircraft and stuff like that. France, of course, but their capability of defense is very little. और अभी जो यूरोपियन यूनियन बोल रहा है कि भाई हमको तो रशिया से थ्रेट है, रशिया आ रहा है हमारी तरफ. I mean, that's a whole different story कि एक तरफ बोलते हैं रशिया वहां पर हार रहा है, दूसरी तरफ बोल रहे हैं हमारी तरफ आ रहा है. But anyways, they want to increase and become more stronger in defense, right? So what they are terming it as is importance of European defense. These are not my words. This is stuff which is being spoken about in the European Union itself. Now, how to overcome this, how to spend more, how to develop joint technologies, and so on and so forth. And तीसरा है, which is the second biggest challenge to the world, to that Western world, as a matter of fact. I mean, हमारे लिए तो सबसे number 1 challenge है. But anyways, is China. China के साथ कैसे deal करें? France, of course, has been talking to India कि भाई give us a presence in the Indo-Pacific so that we can also look after our interests. French के थोड़े से islands हैं यहाँ पर Indo-Pacific region के अंदर, which they are, of course, worried about. But what Germany has done is gone ahead and signed a deal with a Chinese company called Costco, and this got approved. This got approved yesterday only. कि भाई 24.9% of a shipping company which runs that particular terminal, जो हैम्बर्ग पोर्ट का टर्मिनल है, will be sold to China. आप कैन यू इमेजिन, यहाँ पर लोग डीकपल कर रहे हैं चाइना के साथ. दे डोंट वांट टू, एंड अ यूरोपियन पावर व्हिच इज लाइक द central backbone of EU goes and signs a deal with China. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but anyways, let's move forward. This is what it is. And as a matter of fact, French President Macron had said, and I'm going to quote him, that essential infrastructure investment by China is naive. ठीक है? And as a matter of fact, he said that Europe has been naive towards Chinese purchases in the past. कि भाई हमने सोचा नहीं है हम क्या रहे हैं चाइना के साथ. आप देखो, China is not a very good country and this and that. The biggest burn which is happening is that Olaf Scholz wanted to go and meet Xi Jinping very next week. He says, bhai, I want to go and sign this deal and this and that. He's worried about his own economy. Why is he worried about his own economy? Bhai, sanction कर रखे हैं, तेल गैस आ नहीं रहा, इंडस्ट्री चल नहीं रही, लोग प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं, inflation is high, and there are multiple other problems. So he wants to go there. Can you imagine? Just after last week's whole tamasha of Xi Jinping, Olaf Scholz, one of the strongest economies in the world, wants to go and meet Xi Jinping and uske saath haath mila ke, what is he trying to legitimize Xi Jinping or something? I don't know. But this was the plan. Now Germany ne kiya kya hai bhai? What has Germany done to piss off France? Something they would have done, right? It's not just ye do leaders ke beech mein jhagda ho gaya, but anyways. Now about I won't say a month, but just within this past 30 days, Germany ने बोला भाई $200 billion का we will create a fund which will be given as economic relief to our people. $200 billion. And Europe, mind you, is a European Union. So, jo financial decisions hai, they're supposed to kind of do it together. Germans didn't tell anybody, and you can see the photograph of Mr. Olaf Scholz actually announcing this particular thing. You know, during this time, this is, I believe, the change of the month. He got COVID and he couldn't meet, so he did this in video conferencing, as you can see. I personally look at it, इन लोगों ने बड़े इसने ना बड़ी political move करी है, because if you look at it, Germany, European region के अंदर governments have started becoming weak. इटली की इटली की गवर्नमेंट जा चुकी है, ठीक है, and I'm not talking about European Union, I am talking about European region as per se. Italy is already changed. Look what is happening in UK. अभी तो ऋषि सुनाक साहब आ गए हैं, हिंदुस्तान में बड़ा जश्न मच रहा है, but that's a different story. I will tell you why it is not going to be the same that what we are thinking, but I will do a separate video on that, so just keep a track, right? So इंग्लैंड में दो तीन बारी और अभी ये भी कितना टाइम रुकेंगे पता नहीं उनका, ठीक है. He's been touted to be very strong, but anyway, so Olaf Scholz is probably thinking, यार इतने सारे जा रहे हैं भाई, मैं अपनी सीट बचाऊं. He's basically done a political move to keep his people a little calm down कि भाई आप protest ना करो, ये सब, you know, we'll figure it out. Best thing is France ने तो, as I told you, has been criticizing these actions. Italy also criticized it, and many other European nations also criticized it, especially the smaller, poorer nations. Now, the best thing is, as I said earlier, European Union is supposed to take all these financial decisions together. Okay? And German finance minister has been very, very hard-bent on this. But यहाँ पर Germany says, भैया, my people need to be saved, so I will put in $200 billion. I don't care about the rest. So basically, Germany has been also past, you know, Germans have been rule-based order and this and that. So fiscal austerity, मतलब पैसे जरा कम खर्चा करना है, कुछ ये सब, we don't have to do all this stuff. They've been talking about this in their parliament. You know, when the Eurozone crisis happened 3-4 years ago, Germany ने Greece, Portugal, Ireland, इन सबको बोला, भाई, listen, you gotta stop your spending, you gotta this, that, ये वो, follow the line with the European Union. Otherwise, things are going to be very difficult. They actually told them to follow the line, and here is the same Germany going out of the line. So it's quite paradoxical. It's quite weird. ये ऐसे, you know, it's not really done. And as a matter of fact, Germany ka apna federal audit court has criticized this financial plan. He said, "Bhai, don't do this. This is going to be a big problem." Now, इसमें एक बड़ा interesting character है इनका finance minister. I call him the U-turn guy. ये भी I think इमरान खान से कुछ सीख के गया है. But jokes apart, this is what he's done. Now, Politico में this thing was given about a month or two ago, where he said, you know, stricter enforcement of EU rules on budget deficits, and you know, all the countries need to fall in line. This business of going at it alone and all that, ये सब ठीक नहीं है भाई. We are one community, one this solidarity and all that. You know, जब यूक्रेन की वॉर शुरू हुई थी, everybody was we are together, we are against Russia and this and that. Now, October 4th को इन्होंने रॉयटर्स को ये चीज बोली है कि भाई, जर्मन डिफेंस मिनिस्टर सेज joint EU debt is not the answer. भाई, your problem is not my problem, but my problem is your problem. This is the exact thing that Minister Jaishankar also used to talk about. कि भाई, Europe needs to understand that it is not like this. कि आपकी जो प्रॉब्लम है वो दुनिया की प्रॉब्लम है, लेकिन जो दुनिया की प्रॉब्लम है वो आपकी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. And this is exactly now Germany doing the same thing inside the EU. पहले तो दुनिया के साथ करते थे, अब अपनी कम्युनिटी के साथ भी वही कर रहे हैं. They are saying that joint debt is not the answer. अच्छा भाई, ठीक है. You are the guys that are deciding that we will keep on aiding Ukraine. Some of the smaller countries don't even speak that much. But आप लोग decide कर रहे हो, but उनके पैसे भी तो दे रहे हो आप. वो चलेगा, but debt हम लोग नहीं लेंगे दूसरी countries का. So basically what I'm trying to get at is, this is a big crack which has come across in the European Union. You can't be stuff like this and suddenly आप अपने लोगों के लिए पैसे दे रहे हो. Defense, you know, I was telling you that European Union finds itself to be a very weak defense. This thing, NATO से पूरा cover होता है. But Germany साहब बड़े interesting है. You know, इन लोगों ने एक separate fund बनाया अपने लिए $100 billion का military upgrade करके कि we will do it ourselves. You know, German military has to be strong in this and that. Remember history, guys. जर्मनी ने जब भी ऐसी आर्मामेंट करी है पिछले 100-150 साल के अंदर, आपको पता है क्या हुआ है? So obviously बहुत सारे यूरोपियन कंट्रीज के सबके आईब्रोज ऊपर हो गए, यार ये क्या कर रहा है वापस से. So this is history is there. I mean today अगर Poland is so against Russia is because Poland की एक history है रशिया के साथ. So Germany की भी एक history है. So a lot of European nations are saying, यार hang on. Scholz साहब says कि भाई, 2% GDP I will start putting in, that will raise the annual budget to above $80 billion. ठीक है, that will be, by the way, more than what India's budget is, for that small country called Germany. Now France का budget है 44. अब वही हिस्ट्री वापस आ जाती है, भाई ये 80 कर रहे हैं, हम 44 कर रहे हैं, यार ये फिर से कुछ गड़बड़ तो नहीं करेंगे लोग. See, this is a predominant fear between the Europeans, and there is always this thing. And whenever, see, Macron sahab has been talking about a collective European army, कि भैया let's get together and create something for ourselves. NATO के साथ में, because he, French को जरा NATO से थोड़ा सा खुजली सी होती है. They are part of NATO, but they like to chart their own course. Anyways, now East German countries के साथ, because Eastern European countries feel the most threats from Russia. ठीक है, वो सोचते हैं भाई रशिया हमको आके खा जाएगा. So Germany ने काफी वहां पर इन्वेस्टमेंट करनी शुरू करी कि भाई let's fix up some defense ties and some projects कर लेते हैं and all that stuff. And these were the same projects that he was trying to do with France. तो France का again, this is the second time somebody is ditching. पहले AUKUS deal में ditch हुआ, and second now is Germany is ditching. Right? Berlin, as a matter of fact, Germany has linked a deal with 13 NATO countries to create a air defense shield. Basically, missile and air defense shield. So you can see the reason why. Now, France is not a part of that. See, France and Germany are supposed to be like this. They are supposed to work together to ensure that the European Union goes forward. इन दोनों के बीच में झगड़ा होगा, so there is going to be problems. And झगड़ा is not just economic. झगड़ा is also defense. And I will tell you more. Last couple of months, Germany has said, भाई जो इनके Franco-German 2-3 projects हो रहे थे, एक Tiger helicopter था, they used to do some navy patrols in the areas in the oceans around their territories and stuff like that. वो सब बंद कर रखा है Germany ने. So obviously, see, the French are looking at it as was all these things together. And I when I did that episode about Pakistan, I said this. These little events cannot be looked at separately. They have to be looked at together to create a complete impression of what is actually happening. Now it got personal. This is the funny thing. French Prime Minister visited, Berlin about a month and a half ago. This was the same time जब Olaf Scholz साहब ने अपनी ये $200 billion का package announce किया था. He got COVID, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया. Now, funny thing is, again, ये Politico magazine है, and guys, this is a very interesting magazine. It's available on the app stores and all that stuff. You can take it. It gives you good information. थोड़ी analysis अपने आप करनी पड़ती है. But video conference was organized between the French Prime Minister and Olaf Scholz. He said, ना यार मैं बड़ा बीमार हूँ, मेरी थोड़ी तबीयत खराब है, मैं नहीं करूँगा. Funnily speaking, उसी दिन शाम को Scholz साहब came on to this video conferencing, photograph जो आपके सामने है, and announced this $200 billion, and he didn't seem sick at all. And this is not me saying, this is what Paris or the French side said. कि यार ये क्या है? As a matter of fact, French ने एक और चीज आगे जाके बोली कि ये जो $200 billion का है, हमारे तो supposed to be brother हैं ये. They have not even told us. What is he doing? So there has been a bit of a, this thing. So basically what I'm trying to tell you with all these instances is, all these examples is, Germany has realized कि भाई अगर मैं इसके बारे में कुछ करूंगा नहीं, मैं तो गया. And Germany मतलब the leadership has realized कि भाई ये तो लोग निकाल देंगे हमको. अब लोग निकाल देंगे तो मतलब अपनी सीट बचानी है तो कुछ करो. अब वो चीज आप यूरोपियन पार्लियामेंट में लेके जाओगे तो भैया बहुत टाइम लगेगा, बिकॉज उनकी भी देखिए, they are not as efficient as anything else. Their bureaucracy is as bad. You've heard statements from Ursula von der Leyen and Joseph Borrell, and who called Joseph Borrell, by the way, such a star, he called Europe a garden and rest everything a jungle. So people watching in India, guys, we stay in a jungle. Anyways, let's move forward. So this is, इनका जो cooperation होना चाहिए, it's supposed to be very, very good. But look what is actually happening. उधर पे there are other countries like टर्की जिनको इन्होंने लटका रखा है पिछले 8 साल से, यूक्रेन को फटाफट मेंबरशिप देने की बात करते हैं. There are other countries that are saying, "Bhai, we don't care about your rules. We will buy whatever we need to," and that is Hungary. Hungary ने तो बोला है साहब आप जो मर्जी करो, we will still buy Russian gas. It is a matter of my people. I will not follow this nonsense. So there is a lot of cracks which are coming across in the European Brotherhood. Next question, and this is one of the final slides I want to ask is, भैया, are they agreeing on anything? You know, झगड़ा शगड़ा तो चल रहा है, ठीक है, but कुछ, is there something that they agree on? Sorry. One of the things that they agreed on, and I was telling you, US is actually selling gas to these guys. You know, liquefied natural gas है, जो German industry को चाहिए, French industry को चाहिए, they're selling them at 4 times higher than the domestic price. So they're saying, यार ये क्या है? ये तो supposed to be our brother. Now he's doing this to us. You can imagine. A lot of the German industry, especially Audi for that matter, has packed up their bags and gone to America कि भाई वहां पर काम कर लेते हैं, यहाँ पर काम करके क्या फायदा? इधर पे ना गैस है, ना ये है, ना कुछ है. So ये क्या चक्कर है भाई? Anyways, so this was a very, very interesting thing. What they said was, the only thing that they agreed was, and I'm quoting them, France and Germany want to negotiate with Washington about unfair competition, but are ready to hit back if necessary. मतलब क्या, European Union is going to sanction USA? Interesting. Emmanuel Macron slams USA for selling gas at higher prices, calls it a double standard. इसके बाद इन्होंने एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज बोली थी, and I'm going to read it out. It says European Union cannot remain idle if Washington pushes ahead with its Inflation Reduction Act. Now, the Inflation Reduction Act is basically a sort of a price cap sort of a thing that Biden has just signed. Biden ने तो बोला भाई, this is the most important act of my presidency. Now you can imagine, guys, it is going to be Biden's ego versus European Union's ego. Who's going to win? And somebody in the comments has actually said, are these guys sovereign even? Good question. Now, Inflation Reduction Act, which offers tax cuts and energy benefits for companies investing on US soil. मतलब अगर आप यूरोप से निकल के, if you can go that side, we will give you tax benefit. एक चीज I will like to remind all of you guys, when the first time Mr. Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State of US of A, came out and spoke about the Nord Stream pipeline, he said it's a great opportunity. Interesting words, I must say. Now, specifically, recently the US signed another legislation that called Buy American. अब ये बोलते हैं ना आत्मनिर्भर भारत, मोदी जी ने एक निकाल दिया, सब पीछे पड़ गए हैं उसके. भाई, Buy American, be American, buy American. Now, when it comes to choosing electric vehicles, especially. Now, electric vehicles come from where? Electric vehicles come from France and Germany. Their car industries get hit. And Germany is one of the biggest in terms of the car. To counter this, Mr. Macron actually used a phrase which is very interesting: buy European. What is happening? What is happening is everybody is going to sit together and do their own stuff from now on. कि भाई ऐसा है, ये solidarity गई भाड़ में. We have to save our country, and most importantly, guys, these are politicians. They have to save their own seats. So they will do whatever it takes to ensure that doesn't happen. Now, a lot of people might be wondering, and this answer I think a lot of you would already have, what are the actual reasons of this crisis? भाई जब तक यूक्रेन साहब कब सब कुछ ठीक चल रहा था, सो कॉल्ड रशिया को मार रहे थे लोग, जब तक कितने 9 round sanctions have happened, I think, right? जब तक तो everything was okay. The actual reasons for this crisis is those sanctions itself. You had only one energy supplier, आपने उसको बंद कर दिया without realizing भाई alternate कहां से है. I would request all of you, and please don't take my word, these are the same European Union politicians that kept on saying, we have found alternatives. I want to know where they are. They went to Qatar said, साहब मैं नहीं दे सकता. They went to Nigeria ने बोला भैया मैं नहीं दे सकता. They tried it with Iran. You know what is happening with Iran today. And there, by the way, they have their involvement there also. They tried with Venezuela. Venezuela can't produce that much. And even if it does, I'm sure the US will tighten it up. उसके बाद भाई एक नॉर्थ स्ट्रीम पाइपलाइन थी जिससे थोड़ी बहुत गैस आ सकती थी, वो आपने उड़ा दी है. Now I've done a video about who I think has blown it up. Please have a check, because Abhi, let me tell you, in the next some time, what is going to happen is very, very simple. These guys are going to come up with evidence of Russian ships on that area. Mark my words, guys. Some of you are there in my WhatsApp group, guys. If I'm telling you this news will come out in the next couple of days, where one of these countries, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, one of these guys is going to come out and put out a small little article somewhere saying that we spotted a Russian ship in that area just before the accident, to prove the point that the Russians have done it. But we all know, the whole world knows who's done it. Anyways, अभी तो इनकी इतनी हालत खराब है साहब, it is not yet got cold. अभी तो ठंडी नहीं पड़ी. Those of us staying in India, in northern India, I mean, ठीक है, शाम को थोड़ी हल्की सी जैकेट पहन लो, you're okay, right? So it's a similar case and scenario in Europe. It's not really got cold, and since it is not really got cold, tensions are so high. One can only imagine when winters comes in what will happen. Protests are happening. We know Paris has been engulfed. Berlin में हुए हैं. A lot of places in Europe protests are happening. The question is, who will break first? My thought was Germany would have broken first, कि वो Nord Stream pipeline on करने वाले थे just before the pipeline had been blown up. Biggest question, what's the solution? A lot of these guys won't like it. There is only one solution. Get these damn sanctions off. Sit on the table and stop this war. As if I say this, I might be getting on some list that these people have got in terms of a Russia baiter or a Putin propagandist or something like that. I probably might just get tagged. But this is not me who's wanting it. India is doing pretty well. Thank our stars, and thank all of us, as a matter of fact, as Indians, for taking this country to where it is, along with its leadership. It is about common sense. This war has gone on too much. You have drained everything that you had. You don't have weapons anymore. And now you're come to a point where you're fighting amongst yourselves. How does this help, and who does it help? Good question. I would leave that to you guys to answer in the comments. And of course, here in the chats, I'm going to pick up one or two comments that have come up interesting. Guys, I know I didn't inform any of you guys. Just keep a track, put the bell notifications. I'm going to be doing these shorter videos, and I'll try and keep it a little shorter than this as well. But here I wanted to give you a little bit of a history. Germany is not a sovereign nation. How can they overcome current energy crisis or also the Islamic problem? Sir, remove the sanctions from Russia. That's the number one thing. Remove the sanctions from Russia. Get the damn gas coming into your pipelines. Stabilize your society, and then you can start looking at the immigration issues and stuff like that. Trust you me, you can have only one part of your society agitating. You can't have your entire society agitating. It will not work. Mandar Saab says we are in a jungle because Europeans destroyed our garden. Saab, वो तो garden ही है यार. It's such a beautiful garden. Can't you see all the roses around there? But anyways, yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with you what you're saying, Mandar. If this war lasts one more year, Europe may become backward. I think they've already become backward, sir. I don't think there is anything left in Europe. What are they going to do? What are they going to produce? What are they going to sell? Your industry is going to go down. Remember one thing. There's a good old saying, and these old sayings have a way of coming true. Your 9 missed meals from a revolution. USA is like a mosquito. Mosquito drains blood. USA drains currency. When will EU realize this? I think they know about it, but they just can't do anything about it. उनको पता है भाई क्या हो रहा है उनके साथ. There is no question about it. They're not that stupid. But करेंगे क्या? अमेरिका उनके ऊपर ही चाबी घुमा देगा. You can look at what is happening with India ना. आप लोग कुछ बोलते हो तो यहाँ से न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स, वॉशिंगटन पोस्ट, इधर उधर आर्टिकल्स आने शुरू हो जाते हैं, आपके टारगेट्स बनने शुरू हो जाते हैं, फुल पेज एड्स आते हैं. They're also worried about it. Entire Western Front is a smoking screen. Ground reality in EU's I live here. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for bringing your perspective. Poorer nations consider fiscal austerity as subjective. So much so that EU is finding it challenging to explain the objective. view of what would constitute austerity. Sir, I couldn't have said it better than that. As a matter of fact, I'd like to just add एक छोटी सी चीज I would like to add आपके अंदर कि who understands austerity, sir? Austerity needs to be defined by the country that is going through the crisis, not by a rich country who has trillions of dollars or billions of dollars in their reserves. That's exactly what has been happening in Europe, and that's why the resentment today, which is building up. So I don't know how this thing is going to open out and what is going to happen, but things don't look very good. Germany as well as Japan got defanged by Uncle Sam. I reckon they will be used against Bharat. Hunger index. You know, I've done this very interesting video with Sri Iyer Saab from P Gurus. Have a check at that. Why is the West against India? Very interesting video. He takes it up in a very different angle. We look at it from hunger index and this and that. He's looking at a very different perspective. Have a check at that. It's a beautiful video. US may lose petrodollar monopoly because of which they may indulge in a war with Russia and precipitate a Taiwan conflict. See, sir, Mr. Mandar, I think yes, but you know, US understands one thing, and I think that's something that you can hear from their leaders, that we can't fight a war. They don't have the troops, they don't have the weaponry for it, they don't produce as much as weaponry that is required. I mean, for all the show and bang of these F-35 fighters, the kind of maintenance that these damn things require is not even funny. You think they're going to last a day in a bloody battle, like a dusty, muddy battle like what is happening in Ukraine? It's quite difficult. But having said that, I agree with one part of this thing where you're saying petrodollar dominance. Dollar dominance, a lot of people have started talking about it. I'm trying to do a little research to see. Of course, I'm not an economist, but thodi bahut overall research karke, I'll try and write an article and probably do a talk about it. In the last 20 years, US spent $3.4 trillion for its power consumption and changed 82% to 81%. So much hypocrisy. Well, if they want to talk about power consumptions, I think the first thing they need to do is ban those huge GMCs that they drive around, which give you 1 gallon to a liter. I mean, you know the way the people in the US drive and what kind of vehicles they drive. So you know what's happening there. Hunger index is a propaganda push to demoralize us. Well, I don't think Saab, Rohit Saab, you would agree with me that they have not understood India. Jitna marzi karo, ye sab, India will even get stronger than this. So it's a pointless effort, as a matter of fact. But let them continue. यार लोगों को अपनी रोटी कमानी है, वो न्यूज़पेपर वालों को भी तो घर में बीवी बच्चे हैं उनके, कोई बात नहीं, चलने दो. He's not going to be comfortable. Already Italy and other countries have started rationing heat. So heat rationing has started all over the place. As a matter of fact, Germany is doing it. Ukraine has told people कि भाई आप चलाओ ही मत कुछ. There were videos in the beginning. These were memes that were coming out where the Germans were actually talking about by 5-minute showers. But these were things that were being spoken about by the government. Today they're not, because they know that politically इनकी थोड़ी position weak हो गई है. ठीक है. NATO is winning the Ukraine war and Russia will collapse into a number of small countries. Mr. Tom Johnston, I'll take your point for it, sir. I don't agree with it. I'd humbly deny and disagree with your point. But anyways, it's a free platform. I'd like all sorts of opinions coming across. NATO can only win this Ukraine war if NATO starts producing weapons, which it doesn't. So, how to get added to your WhatsApp group, sir? Very, very simple. My email address is mentioned in the description, and I think the first time I'm going to explain it. Email ID is in the description. Send me a mail with your contact and your name for me to verify who you are. I've had certain requests coming in from very friendly nations from us. One of them, interestingly, not from the West, from the East, Hong Kong. So I just want to be sure that, I don't want to compromise so many other people that are there in my group, and I'm very, very careful about it. So send me a mail and I'll be happy to add you up. How would you rate the snub by OPEC nations on USA? Sir, it's not a snub, it's a kick. Let me show you. I mean, you can imagine what the hegemony of USA has come down to. USA in the 50s, after the Second World War, did a deal. Now, I'm going to just give it a very raw sort of a interpretation, but the deal with Saudi was, boss, we will produce everything. You don't sell anybody oil without getting dollars. Dollar domination. अब वही सऊदी बोलता है भाई मैं किसी में भी ले लूंगा यार, मैं चाइनीज उसमें ले लूंगा, मैं इंडियन से बोलता हूँ भाई आप मेरे को रुपी दे दो, कोई बात नहीं मैं आपसे ले लूंगा। तो कहाँ डोमिनेंस बचा आपका? ठीक है, as a matter of fact, the funny thing about this whole thing is when Biden went to Saudi, he spoke to MBS and he said यार थोड़ा ऑयल का प्रोडक्शन कम कर दो। वो कहता है साहब ठीक है, मैं सोचता हूँ आपकी बात, तो आप इतनी दूर आए हो मुझसे मिलने के लिए, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू आउटराइट से नो, लेट मी थिंक अबाउट इट, लेट मी आस्क माय पार्टनर्स इन दी ओपेक प्लस। ठीक है जी, पार्टनर से पूछ लो ओपेक प्लस। बाइडन ने पूछा होगा भाई ये ओपेक प्लस कौन है? ऑफ कोर्स ही न्यू अबाउट इट, इट्स जस्ट अ जोक दैट आई एम टेलिंग यू। ओपेक प्लस कौन है भाई? ओपेक प्लस इज रशिया। So Biden is actually requesting Russia, which is the same group as the Saudi, to increase oil production. Will it? I had no doubts it was not going to happen. Anyways, pensions constitute a bomb with production fading out and austerity kicking in. Massive social unrest is literally staring EU4 plus UK's leadership in his face. Sir, UK, I don't think knows what is happening to it today. With I think I was personally a little overedged, and a lot of YouTubers have actually made videos. Rishi Sunak साहब आ गए, अब तो इंडिया के साथ अच्छा हो जाएगा ये वो and all that. Let us just analyze what the first 2-3 things he did. He brought that Suella Beverman back. One of his ministers said, "Bhai, till the time we are not satisfied, we will not sign the deal with India." ठीक है. These are 2-3 things which have already happened in what 3 days of his being a prime minister. So great that he's an Indian origin, some bloodshot, and all that stuff, but I don't expect too much out of it because I look at it very, very, very simply. This guy is a stopgap, sir. He's going to try and do something here and there, and they'll blame it on him and throw him out. As far as what you're saying, sir, massive social unrest, you're in that place, sir. You tell us how many protests are you seeing on the road. So I'm only getting news from here and there, and which is also highly censored. I don't know. Aha, Jasmine. I think that's a very interesting comment. Jungles are self-sustained garden saint. Absolutely. And, another comment says, jungle is pure. I agree with you, sir. There's no question. This has been interesting, guys. I didn't put out anything there about, there are a few people that are already here. It's nice to have all your comments. Glad to know that you guys support me. Of course, before I sign off, I'll probably put out another video about the recent kick that has been given by the ISI to Pakistan's ex-Prime Minister Imran Khan. Ye kya ho raha hai bhai? Is Imran Khan getting too strong, or is the army coming back again? We'll discuss this tonight at about 9:30, 9:45. Keep a track. Switch on the bell icon so that you get to know when I'm coming on live. Guys, before I check out, like, subscribe. If you want to, please do become a member. Join the WhatsApp group. As I've told you, you can send me a message or an email. Some great people on the WhatsApp group who share beautiful, fantastic information. Till next time, guys, till the evening. Jai Hind.